Well, happy Monday to everybody. Hope you are doing well and your week is off to a decent start at least. We're going to try to get our week started here back on schedule. I just finished printing off 5 more copies front and back of this so I can make sure I have plenty of score sheets and I don't end up like I did last night with the Rockies having to use a secondary method, which was not my favorite. This is the setup I'm comfortable with, and this is the setup I want to stay with. So we're at the first game of the Tuesday, July the 7th schedule. Good morning, Dr. D. And the first game is going to be between two teams that were not on the stream last week. This was played offline, their first game on Monday the 6th. So teams that don't get played online will be immediately played online the first games of the next day in the schedule. And that's what we're doing here. So the White Sox and the Orioles go at it from Memorial Stadium. Memorial Stadium is a symmetrical ballpark, 1 to 3 home runs, 1 to 11. I'm sorry, 1 to 3 singles, 1 to 11 home runs, both sides of the plate. This is game number 569. As like I said, we played 567 last week, and that was the official halfway point. So we're over that. We're on top of that hill, and we're getting ready to go down the hill. So we'll see how that goes. White Sox won the game real world 9 to 3. White Sox coming to the game 37 and 42, Baltimore 31 and 51. Pitching matchup: Floyd Bannister, a left-hander for the White Sox, against John Habyan, a right-hander for the Orioles. So we'll look at Bannister in the bottom of the first. Right now, we'll concentrate on John Habyan since he is going to be starting the ball game off. John Habyan on the 87 season, if I can get this thing to focus right, was 6-7 with a 4.80 ERA. We go to the Strat computer and check out his replay numbers. He is 1-0. So I forgot to write that in there. He is 1-0. Only 23 innings pitched, though, so it's only had a couple of starts. Might have even had a relief appearance in there somewhere or another. But he's 1-0 with a 5.16 ERA, 23 innings pitched, 30 hits, 13 walks, 11 strikeouts. Not a whole lot to go on. He has a 5 wild pitch and a 0 balk. He has a +2 hold, and with Kennedy, the catcher, being a 0, it keeps him as a +2. And so the lineup for the White Sox, pretty standard, nothing really out of the ordinary. The Orioles, with the lefty on the mound, are going heavily right-handed. The only left-handed hitter is Terry Kennedy. Everybody else is either a switch or a right. So you end up with guys like Lee Lacy in right field and Rick Burleson as a DH. So kind of a strange lineup that may or may not work out for Cal Ripken Sr. and his bunch. We shall see. Right now, we're going to get this game going. Ozzie Guillen leading off for the White Sox, and Guillen on the replay is hitting 292, a homer and 34 runs driven in. He hit 279 in the real season. And of course, before the first pitch is thrown, we have the ceremonial first sip. And that is some good coffee. Good morning, Dan. Sorry I missed you earlier. Hope you're doing well. Okay, now we're back on the weekend is kind of, for me, because I try to fit so many things in there. I'm usually got 3 videos a weekend going on, so it's with the golf and everything else. Things that only get added on the weekend, like the game of the week and the golf. Monday through Friday, it's pretty much simply this 1987 replay and then the Rockies replay. And that's all I have. I have nothing else to fit in. On the weekends, you've got the golf and you've got the Sunday Basic Sunday and stuff, and the NBC game of the week. So it's kind of a lot of more things to have to fit in. So this is more in my wheelhouse, to borrow a term from Payoff Pitch, that I prefer. So yes, Jeremiah, weekend. Well, every day to me is a weekend. That's the beauty. Oh, and just in time, we have a scam likely. Would you like to call this number? I'll leave it up on the screen. You can call it if you like and bother the crap out of them. 449-0260. Call them up and bug the crap out of them. I don't think it's Giovanni's Tailor Shop, because they wouldn't be listed as a scam. They would come up as Giovanni's Tailor Shop. But the phone recognizes it's a scam. So go ahead and bug the crap out of them. do my heart some good to see these people get messed with. All right, so that out of the way, let's get the proverbial ball rolling. Ozzie Guillen starting us off against Habyan. 2-5 for Guillen. He's going to line it right to Eddie Murray. So he hit it hard, but right to Mr. Eddie Murray, one away. That'll bring up Gary Reedus as the next batter in the lineup, left fielder. Reedus is hitting 246 on the replay. 4 homers, 16 driven in. He hit 236 real world. It's a 3-9, and that's a 1-5 for a single. Anything else, he lines it to short. And that'll be a line out to Ripken. So a couple of line drives to 2 Hall of Famers for the Orioles for 2 quick outs. They'll bring up another Hall of Famer in Harold Baines. Baines hitting 285 on the replay, 6 homers, 36 driven in. He hit 293 real world. It's a 5-9, and that's going to be another line out to Ripken. So 3 line drive outs to start the ball game for the White Sox. And Habyan benefits from the atom balls, where the balls are hit right at him. And that takes care of the White Sox in the first. Go to the bottom of the first, Chicago nothing, and the Orioles coming to bat. And as we turn to the White Sox pitching, we're looking at left-hander Floyd Bannister. Bannister was 16-11 with a 3.58 ERA real world. On the replay, and again, forgot to put his replay stats in here, he is 9-2 on the replay with an ERA of 2.49, so he's definitely overperformed. 126 innings pitched, 103 hits, 22 walks, and 64 strikeouts. He has a wild pitch of 4, a balk of 2, and Fisk with a 0 arm, but Bannister is a -2, so he gets a -2, whereas Habyan is a +2. But other than maybe Wiggins, there's not a whole lot of Orioles that are going to try to run, so that may not hurt him too much. And speaking of Wiggins, he will lead things off, second baseman. He's hitting a robust 197 on the replay, a homer and 11 driven in, 232 on the real world. Switch hitter. And we get a 3-9, and that's a base hit for Alan Wiggins. And Wiggins, of course, is going to try to run. That's pretty much his contribution to the team, is running. If he's not running, he's not contributing. Burleson is an A bunter. He could bunt him over, but I hate wasting it out on a bunt when you can try to steal it for yourself. So Wiggins is going to try to get a good lead. He needs a 4 through 6 or a 12. And he doesn't get the good lead, so now Burleson will go ahead and bunt him over just so he can make a productive out, because he's terrible. So we're going to at least try to get a base advancement on him. So let's see, the bunt is going to go. Well, first of all, before we go to the bunt, Burleson is hitting 210 on the replay. No homers, 9 driven in. He at 209 real world. So the 2 for the bunt is going to go right back to Bannister. And he's an A bunter, but the defense is corners in. So basically 1 to 9 is a good bunt. And that's a 2. That's a good sacrifice. So sacrifice bunt will go right back to Bannister, 1 to 4. And it does move Wiggins to second base. So at least a productive out by Rick Burleson. Gets him out of a double play, ground ball double play situation. Puts Wiggins in scoring position for 2 Hall of Famers to try to drive him home, Ripken and Murray. First up is Cal Ripken. Ripken's hitting 251 on the replay, 12 homers, 43 driven in. He had 252 real world, so he's right where he should be. 6-7, and that's a strikeout for Bannister, his first. And now it'll be up to Eddie Murray in a clutch situation against the left-hander. And in the clutch, Murray against lefties has 1 hit loss at 1-3. Everything else, he is neutral. Murray hitting 313 on the replay, 21 homers, 49 driven in. He at 277 real season. He's going to try to give the Orioles an early lead. 5-8 against a right-handed hitter is a fly ball to right, and that's going to end the inning. That's one of the problems when you sacrifice bunt, is you give up an out already, so Doesn't take the 2 outs to get out of the inning. That's why I usually don't like to bunt, but with Burleson being so bad, I figured at least try to get something out of his out, because otherwise you're just giving away an out without any production. So that will do it for the Orioles. We'll go to the top of the second, no score from Memorial Stadium. And up first is Ivan Calderon for the White Sox. Calderon hitting 283 on the replay, 10 homers, 28 driven in. He hit 293 real world. It's a 3-7 for Calderon. Struck him out. First strikeout for John Habyan. And that'll bring up Greg Walker. Walker hitting 219 on the replay, 4 homers, 26 driven in. He hit 256 real world. That is a 1-8, and that's a walk for Walker. First walk issued by Habyan. Walker, no threat to run, will hold right where he is for Pudge Fisk. Carlton Fisk hitting a dead even 300 on the replay and 233 at bats. He's hitting a dead even 300. 7 homers, 31 driven in. He hit 256 real world, so he's definitely having a good year. 4-5, and that's a strikeout, but not a good at bat, as Habyan gets him on strikes. 2 down, and now it's up to Donnie Hill, switch hitting second baseman. Donnie Hill hitting 216 on the replay, 3 homers, 23 driven in. He hit 239 in the real season. That is a 5-10 left switch hitter batting left. That's a ground ball third base. That's Ray Knight, 4E23 for Ray Knight. 4-12 should be okay. 4 and a 12 is a G3. And the error rating is an E23. So an E23 has got to avoid 3, 11, 13, 15, and 18. And that is an 8, so that's just fine. So Ray Knight makes the play, and the inning's over. Nothing doing for the White Sox here in the second. We go to the bottom of the second, still no score from Memorial Stadium. Bannister back out. He'll be facing Knight, Young, and Lacey, scheduled hitters. Ray Knight hitting 223 on the replay, 9 homers, 30 driven in. He hit 256 real world. 2-3 to the lefty is a hit by pitch, so Knight gets plunked to start the inning. He is no threat to run. And switch hitting Mike Young, left fielder, is at the plate. Young's hitting 219 on the replay, 9 homers, 24 driven in. He hit 240 in the real season. 2-9, and that is a ground ball shortstop A, and it didn't take long to start the week with a Giovanni's tailor-made double play. That 2-9 left-handed ground ball shortstop A, tailor-made as can be, 6-4-3, Giovanni's tailor-made double play. For 2 quick outs, Giovanni's Tailor Shop in Lemoyne, Pennsylvania. If you're in that area and you have tailoring needs, be sure to stop by and see them. Tell them Demo sent you. They'll give you a discount. They're the unofficial sponsor of the channel, but the official sponsor of the Giovanni's Tailor Shop tailor-made double play of the game. And now with 2 outs and the bases clear, we got Lee Lacey. Lacey hitting 248, 4 homers, 15 driven in. He had 244 real world. 112 against the left-hander, and that's a foul out to Fisk. And the double play pretty much took the starch out of the Orioles on that one. And they go meekly in the second inning. Go to the third, still no score. John Habyan back out, and he'll be facing the bottom of the order. Steve Lyons, Ken Williams, and then back to the top again. So Steve Lyons, third baseman. He's hitting 348 on the replay, but just 46 at bats. No homers, 6 driven in. He had 280 real world. So once he gets some more at bats, I'm sure that average will level out. 312, and that's a ground ball to Ripken at short. 1 away. For the number 9 hitter, Ken Williams, center fielder. Williams is hitting 226, 3 homers, 17 driven in. He hit 281 real world. 6-2, that's a ground ball right back to Habyan. 2 down. And that'll send up Ozzie Guillen. Guillen, his first time up, lined it hard right to Eddie Murray. 5-5. Switch hitter is a pop-up to Wiggins at second, and that's going to end the inning. So not a lot going on in the top of the third. Move on to the bottom of the third, and it's the bottom portion of the Oriole lineup with Terry Kennedy, the only lefty in the lineup. He will lead things off against Bannister. And for Terry Kennedy on the replay, he is hitting 227, 14 homers, 34 driven in. He at 250 real world. That is a 6-9 lefty-lefty. It's a fly ball to left, and that's going to be pulled in by Gary Reedus. 1 away for the number 9 hitter, Ken Gerhardt. Gerhardt in center field, giving Fred Lynn the night off against a tough lefty, so they brought in a righty, Gerhardt. Gerhardt is hitting 225 on the replay, 8 homers, 22 driven in. He at 243 real world. 2-3, and that is a home run, 1-3. Anything else, he flies to left. And that's a fly to left. 2 quick outs. Back to the top of the order for Alan Wiggins. 1-8 for Wiggins. He will ground it to Guillen, and that'll do it. So very quick third inning on both sides. Go the fourth, no score from Memorial Stadium. Maybe both offenses are still trying to wake up for the week. I don't know. Or maybe the pitcher's just having their way right now. It'll be the 2, 3, and 4 hitters for the White Sox. Reedus, Baines, and Calderon due up for the Pale Hose as they take on John Habyan. Just line to Ripken his first time up. 3-8. This time he's going to draw a base on ball. Second walk issued by Habyan. And now Reedus will be looking to run, especially with that +2 hold. So he needs a 2 through 6 to get a good jump. And he will get it. So he gets the good lead. It's a 19, being held as a 17, with the +2 as a 19. So 1-19, he steals it. And it barely does, but he makes it. Stolen base for Reedus. And if you look at the numbers on Reedus on his stolen bases for the replay, check his replay steals versus his real life steals. In the real season, he stole 52 bases, got caught 11 times. This will be stolen base number 14. He's been caught 4 times. So only stolen base number 14 for Reedus, but he's at second base with nobody out for Harold Baines. 2-9 to Baines. That's a single to right field. Reedus 17, not being held as an 18. Lacey's a 0 arm. 1-18, they're going to send him. And the throw is coming home. 1-18, and he's in there. RBI single for Harold Baines. And the White Sox lead it 1-0. White Sox finally on the board. Brings up Ivan Calderon. That is a 2-4 for Calderon. That's a fly to center. 1 away. One down for Greg Walker, who drew a base on balls his first time up. 5-10. That's a ground ball third base X. Ray Knight, 4E23. 4-20. That's a G1 chance for a double play. Got to avoid the error. E23, it's 11, 13, 15, and 18. And he does. So that will be an around the horn 5-4-3 double play to end the inning and get Habyan out of further damage. But the White Sox do jump on top with a run, courtesy of Reedus and Baines. Go to the bottom of the fourth. It's 1-0 White Sox over the Orioles here at Memorial Stadium. And now they've turned over a 1-0 lead to Floyd Bannister. He's going to be facing Rick Burleson. No bunting here. Nobody's on base to bunt over, so he's going to have to try to earn himself a base hit. 3-6, and he flies to center. Ken Williams will haul it in. 1 away. And that'll take us to Cal Ripken. 5-6, and that's a ballpark blast for Cal Ripken. It's a 1-11, and we'll have ourselves a tie ball game. Ripken has 12 home runs on the replay. He had 27 real world. He is aiming for home run number 13 and needs a 1-11 to accomplish it. And he doesn't get it. It's a fly to left. So Ripken just got up under it. Didn't get the roll he needed. 2 down for Eddie Murray. 4-4, and that's a fly ball center field X. Ken Williams, he is a 2-E9. 2 and a 7 is good. Looking for the E9 in center field. E9 for a center fielder. And E9, he's got to avoid 3, 4, 14, 17, and 18, which he does. So Ken Williams makes the play. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for the Orioles once again. We go to the 5th. Still 1-0 White Sox. And this will be the fatigue inning for John Habyan starting the 5th. We'll keep an eye on his fatigue. It's going to be Fisk, Hill, and Lyons due up for the Sox. 2-7, and that is a strikeout for John Habyan. That is only his second. Fisk is out of there. Here's Donnie Hill. 1-6 is going to ground it to Ripken. 2 down. And that'll take us to Mr. Steve Lyons. 4-6, that's a fly to right. So Habyan will carry full endurance into the 6th. As he's pitching well, just not getting any run support. Bottom of the 6th we go, 1-0, or bottom of the 5th we go, rather, 1-0 White Sox. Still our score. Due up for the O's here in the bottom of the 5th. It'll be Knight, Young, and Lacey. Knight hit by a pitch his first time. 6-9, and this time he will line it right to Greg Walker. 1 away. For the switch hitting Mike Young. 6-4, and that's a catcher X. Carlton Fisk is a 3-E4. 3-19. That should be some sort of a ground out, I would assume. 3-19. For catcher is a G2. Okay. And he is an E4, so he has to avoid 16, 17, and 18. Those are the numbers to avoid, which he clearly does, and it's a 2-3 ground out. So Young is out of there on a little squibber. 2 up, 2 down for Lee Lacey. It's a 1-12, and that's a foul. He fouls out again. That might have been the same roll he had the first time, because he fouls out again to Fisk. Easy 1-2-3 inning for Bannister. That didn't take long once again. We will go to the 6th, still 1-0. And Ken Williams will lead it off for the White Sox against Mr. Habyan. 3-12 for Williams. That's a Lomax plus injury, so nobody else is on base, but it's a chance that he will be injured. So we need to roll for injury. 1-6, he stays in the game. 7 or higher, he's got to come out. And he will fight that off and stay in the game. So the line out tonight would have been multiple outs, but nobody's on base. So just a liner to third, 1 away. And he does avoid the injury. And here is Ozzie Guillen. 1-7 for Guillen is a 1-17 single. 18-20, he lined Wiggins. And that is a base hit for Ozzie Guillen. 1 out single for Guillen, and he's probably looking to run. He needs a 6 or a 7 to get the good lead. And he gets it. He gets the good lead. So 18 being held as a 16 plus 2 is an 18. 1 to 18. And he's in there safely. Stolen base for Ozzie Guillen. So let's look at the numbers on Guillen as far as his stolen bases replay versus real world. Guillen on the real season stole 25 bases, got caught 8 times. This is stolen base number 14. He's been caught 5 times. So stolen base number 14 for Ozzie Guillen. Last time the White Sox stole a base, they scored a run. So see if that continues. Gary Reedus is your batter. .210 for Reedus. That's a ballpark single check. It's only a 1 to 3. And that's going to be a ground ball to third, holding Guillen at second base, 2 down. And a clutch situation for Harold Baines. In the clutch for Baines, he will gain some hits. 1-7, 1-11, 2-3, and 3-4 and 3-10. So 5 hits. He gains 5 hits in the clutch. 6-11, though, it's going to be a ballpark blast on John Habyan's card. So 1 to 11 will be a 2-run home run for Harold Baines. 1 to 11. And he gets it. Harold Baines, a 2-run bomb. Harold Baines trying to show his Hall of Fame naysayers why he's in the Hall of Fame. That is home run number 7 on the replay for Baines. He had 20 real world. RBIs 38, 39. 2-run home run, Harold Baines. And it is now 3-0 White Sox. And Habyan's probably on his last bit here. They're going to try to get him through the inning. Here's Calderon. 5-9, and that's a pop out tonight. 2 down. And then we'll go to Greg Walker. 5-11, that's a fly ball left field. Mike Young, 4E9 for Young. 4-19 is good. E9, left fielder E9 has to avoid 3-11, 16, and 18. And 13 is just fine. So Young makes the play. Inning's over, but the 2-run home run from Harold Baines gives the White Sox a 3-0 lead and turns it over to one of their aces, Floyd Bannister. That's going to be it for Habyan. His day is done. So we'll get the final numbers on Habyan. Let's see here. Habyan's going to go 6 innings. He only gives up 3 hits. Unfortunately for him, one of them was a 2-run home run. Let's see here. He will walk. Let's see. Well, the runs are all earned, 3 earned. He walks, I believe, just 2, and he strikes out 2. And the Orioles will need a new pitcher. And we'll figure out who that's going to be. Depends on maybe if the Orioles score any runs and make it closer, or whether it stays 3-0. That might factor in who comes in. Lee Lacy is your batter. Bannister's fatigue is number 7, so he's in good shape. Actually, it's not going to be Lacy. He made the last out last time. It's actually Kennedy that's going to lead off. So Terry Kennedy will lead things off against Bannister. 3-6 for Kennedy, and that is a base hit. That's the first hit of the game for the Orioles since the leadoff man, Wiggins. But Kennedy is aboard, and that'll send up Ken Gerhardt. That's a 4-10, and that's a ballpark single check. It's only a 1 to 3, and that failed, so he will line it to third, and that's 1 away. We'll go back to the top of the order for Mr. Wiggins. That's a 6-5, and that is a fly ball to center. Ken Williams is there, 2 down. And we're up to Rick Burleson, which means the inning is probably over. 2-8, and no, he walks, so he's going to keep the inning going. That's actually the first walk issued by Bannister. He hit a batter, he hit Ray Knight. This is the first actual walk. And it actually brings the tying run to the plate in a clutch situation in Cal Ripken. Ripken in the clutch will gain a hit 210 and on 3-3. So might be the best chance of the game so far for the Orioles to make hay. 6-5, but that's a fly to center, and that's going to do it. So we played 6 at Memorial Stadium, and it is Chicago 9 and Baltimore. I'm sorry, Chicago 3, Baltimore nothing. They won the real game 9-3. That's where I got the 9 from. So now the Orioles will need a new pitcher. Let's see who they want to go to and who has the best rest. Because whether you have rest or are fatigued will make a big difference. So due up. Oh, now I got this. Something's out of whack here on my computer. Let's see what's going on here because the computer has Walker leading off. I know that's not right. So let me check my previous inning for the White Sox and see where the mistake came in. Line out, single, stolen base, ground out, home run, pop out. Oh, you know what? I gave him 4 outs. That's what the problem was. I rolled 4 outs in the previous inning. It is Walker's time, but I gave him 4 outs for some reason. I don't know why, but I did. So that was kind of dumb. Fortunately, the attendance today is very slim, so nobody caught it. Anybody watching on replay later might be yelling, saying you gave him 4 outs. But so that's all that's happening there. So that means Greg Walker is actually going to be the leadoff man. It'll be Walker, Fisk, and Hill. So let's see if we go to the bullpen, who has the best rest. And let's see. Who do they want to go to here? Corbett, Williamson, Arnold. They're going to go to Mark Williamson out of the bullpen. Right-hander Mark Williamson. And he has a relief of 3, which means he could finish the game if he's effective. So we'll go to Mark Williamson out of the bullpen and get his numbers in the real season. Whoops. Mark Williamson, real season, 8-9, 4.03 ERA, and 3 saves in the real season. On the replay for Mark Williamson, he is 3-5 with 4 saves, an ERA of 3.30. 71 innings pitched, 67 hits, 12 walks, 47 strikeouts. He has started a few games, but has since gone back to the bullpen. So we got Greg Walker leading off against Williamson. 6-5, and that's a triple 1-7, single 8-20. And another spam call coming in. Don't we love spam calls? All right. So 14 is going to be a single for Greg Walker. He will hit a leadoff single to start the 7th inning. That'll bring up Fisk. 6-9, and that's a ground ball second base C, so the runner will advance to second base. Kind of a pseudo sacrifice. Does get the runner in scoring position with the 1 out. For Donnie Hill. Donnie Hill. 4-3, and that's a fly ball left field X. Left fielder is Young. He's a 4. 4-17, he'll get to that. E9. E9-6, I believe, is okay. Yes, it is. Fly ball to left, 2 down. And that'll send up Steve Lyons in a clutch situation. Lyons in the clutch will gain a hit will lose a hit 2-8. Also loses hits 3-8 and 3-9. That is a 4-2, and it's a ground ball to Murray. He will get it flipped to Williamson covering, and that will end the inning. So we made it to the 7th inning stretch here at Memorial Stadium. With the score still 3-0 White Sox. Hello there, Mouse. Dr. D, what issue are you talking about fixing in Action PC? All right, Eddie Murray is going to step up to the plate. Let's make sure I've got it. Oh, cool, Mouse. Did you get the? I think did you get the game in the season from Barnes and Nobles from their sale or their special, whatever you want to call it? I don't have a 4-out situation in Action PC, Dr. D. The 4 outs was on my score sheet. The computer was fine. I didn't make the error in the computer. I made it on the score sheet. So the computer was fine. Once I hit the 3rd out on the computer, it had already flipped over to the next half inning. And when I got the out here, I must have just not even looked at the computer to see what was going on. So the mistake was on my score sheet. The computer was fine both on Strat-O-Matic and it would have been fine on Action PC. It won't let you get 4 outs. The computer will automatically take care of that. The error was mine. All right, here is Eddie Murray. And this is the fatigue inning for Bannister, so we'll keep an eye on him. 4-7, that's a ground ball, second base X. Donnie Hill is a 4. 4 and a 4, that's going to get through for a base hit. 4 and a 4 will be a single. So Donnie Hill at second base is an E11. He's got to avoid 15, 17, and 18. And he does that no problem, but it will be a base hit for Eddie Murray. Leadoff single. Just the 3rd hit so far for the Orioles, as Bannister has been chugging along pretty well. That'll bring up Ray Knight. 6-7, that's a strikeout. There's a dot there, but he has not given up anything in his fatigue inning to be tired yet. That's actually the first strikeout for Bannister. I'm sorry, second strikeout. In 7 innings, he got a struck out Ripken in the first, but that's the second strikeout of the game. In almost 7 innings now, he's only got 2 strikeouts, but he's gotten the outs. That's all he needs. Strikeouts are sexy, but outs are what counts. Here's Mike Young. That's a 2, balk or pass ball. We're looking at a balk rating on Bannister. His balk rating is a 2, and no balk there. So Young will swing away, and that's a 5-7, and that is a ground ball, shortstop X. We are looking at Guillen. He's a 2E21, 2 and a 9. Might be a fielder's choice. 2 and a 9 is a G2, so they'll get the fielder's choice. E21 at short. He's got to avoid 6, 15, and 17, which he does, but it'll be a 6-4 fielder's choice. So 2 outs and Mike Young, the batter, or the runner, I should say. And for Mike Young, he is fouled. I'm sorry, he has for Lee Lacy rather. He is fouled out twice to Fisk. See if he can find something different than that 112. He does. He finds 411. That's a fly ball right field X. So we're looking at Calderon, 3E6. 3 and a 14 should be no problem, I would think. 3 and a 14. Oops. Just knocked Bannister over there. 3 and a 14 is an F2, and his error rating is a 6. So he's got to avoid 3, 4, 14, 17, and 18. And that is a 16. So I think he's, let me double check. I think he's okay with that. E6, there's a 17 and an 18, but no 16. So Calderon will make the play, and the inning is over. And Bannister will carry endurance into the 8th inning. So we go to the 8th. It's still 3-0 favor of the White Sox. No, Mouse, these are PDFs I got from ID Jester. These are not Strat approved. These are just condensed versions of the Strat charts is all this is. This did not come with the game. All right, so here is Mark Williamson back for his second inning of work, and he'll be dealing with Ken Williams. And then the top of the order, Gian and Reedus. So Williams 0 for 2 has a 3-7, and that's a strikeout for Ken Williams. So we had Williamson facing Williams. That was kind of interesting. We'll play on words there. Here's Ozzie Guillen. Guillen singled and stole a base, scored in front of Baines' homers last time up. We had a 4-4, and that's going to be a ground ball third base X. So again, Ray Knight, 4E23 for Knight, 4 and a 7. Might get to this. We'll see. Could be close. 4 and a 7 is a G3. He just barely gets to it. E23 again. He's got to avoid 11, 13, 15, and 18, which he does. So Ray Knight makes the play. 2 down, and that'll bring up Ozzie Guillen. I'm sorry, that'll bring up Gary Reedus. Guillen just grounded out. That'll bring up Gary Reedus. Reedus 0 for 2, a walk, a stolen base, and a run scored. And we get a 3-12, and that's going to be a ballpark blast for Gary Reedus. 1 to an 11, and Reedus will go deep. And he does. Gary Reedus, a home run. 4-0 White Sox on the home run from Gary Reedus on the ballpark blast. 1 to an 11 and roll to 4. Reedus with home run number 5 on the replay. He had 12 real world. RBI number 17 as well. White Sox lead at 4-0. And here comes Harold Baines. It's a 6-8, and that's going to be a single 1 to 18. And that's exactly what he had. So Harold Baines 3 for 4 on the day. And here's Ivan Calderon. 1-6, and that's going to be a 1 for a triple. Anything else will be a double to center. That's a double to center. Let's see if Baines can try to score. He probably will with 2 outs. Baines runs at a 9. Not being held makes him a 10. 2 outs makes him a 12. Plus 1 from Gerhardt's a 13. So 1 to 13, he's going. And they're going to throw home to try to get him. And they do not. He slides in safely. And with the throw going home, Calderon will take third on the throw, since his run rating is higher than 13. But it's an RBI double for Harold Baines, his 4th run batted in of the game. He's driven in 4 of the 5 runs. Again, trying to justify his Hall of Fame credentials, which for most of us still don't think this is enough. Still think he's a sham, but that's personal opinion. Here's Walker. 1-7 for Walker, and he will draw the base on balls again. Let's put runners on the corners. 2 outs for Carlton Fisk. Williamson just trying to make it through this inning. 3-7, and Fisk gets a ballpark blast. So 1 to 11, we got a 3-run shot from Fisk. 12 or higher, the inning's over. And Fisk goes deep for a 3-run shot. That'll be it for Williamson right there, as he gets just bludgeoned by the ballpark blast on the Memorial Stadium effect. Fisk with home run number 8 on the replay. He had 23 real world. RBIs 32, 33, and 34 for Carlton Fisk. And the Orioles will now go to a new pitcher out of the bullpen. And we'll see who they want to bring on. Looks like they're going to bring on Scott McGregor, the left-hander, as a mop-up guy. I didn't even put Williamson over here. I'll tell you what I was doing. Maybe I need more coffee. We'll get the numbers on Williamson. He's going to go an inning and 2/3. He's going to give up what's over here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits. A total of 5 runs, all earned. Looks like 1 walk and 1 strikeout. And now McGregor is going to come on. McGregor 2-7 with a 664 earned run average on the real season. And we'll see what he's done on the replay. Not very well, probably, because that's why he's in the bullpen. Or actually, you know what? I didn't catch this, but there was a roster move made by the Orioles. McGregor is either, I'm assuming he's on the disabled list because he's not there. So we need to go get his replacement, who can also do mop-up work. Perfect time to bring him in. Another left-hander. They just called up from AAA, Mike, and I'm not sure how you even pronounce his name, but it's Mike Knoonen, maybe that's how you pronounce it. Mike Knoonen. He is in, and not Boddicker, McGregor is on the disabled list. So Mike Knoonen is actually going to be the guy that comes in. Left-hander. No, he's actually a right-hander. Thought he was a lefty, but he's a righty. So the Orioles don't have any lefties in the bullpen. They're all right-handed. So Mike Knoonen is going to come on. You see his numbers. He was 0-0 with a 4.95 ERA and 20 innings of pitching. On the replay, he is 0-1 with an 11.37 ERA, 6 innings pitched, 10 hits. But get this, 7 walks and 1 strikeout in 6 innings. So he's obviously had control issues. But in a game like this that's gotten out of hand, this is the time to bring him in and see if he can work out those issues. And he's going to start out facing Donnie Hill. It's 1-3, and he gets him to fly to center to end the inning. But 5 runs come in for the White Sox, and they now lead it 8-0. Remember, they won the real game 9-3, so they're almost on pace to get that 9 runs. But can the Orioles get any runs off of Bannister is the question. He has just been in control the entire game. And now he's going to face Kennedy, Gerhardt, and Wiggins. Here in the bottom of the 8th, it was now an 8-0 blowout. 6-5, that's a fly to center. Williams puts it away, 1 down for Ken Gerhardt. That's a 4-11, and that's a fly ball right field X. We're looking at Calderon, 3-6. 3-6 is going to be close. That might drop. 3-6 might drop. 3-6 does drop. It's a single. And E6, he has to avoid 3, 4, 14, 17, and 18. Whoops. And that's an 11. He'll be fine. No error. But it will be a base hit for Ken Gerhardt. Ken Gerhardt is aboard. And Alan Wiggins, the batter. It's 2-4 for Wiggins. And it's a ballpark single check, but it's only a 1-3. And so he will end up popping it up to Steve Lyons at third base. Rick Burleson, you're down 8-0. You might as well let him hit. Being a pinch hitter at this point is kind of pointless. You're not going to accomplish anything. Might as well let Rick Burleson get his at-bats so we can get him out of the way. 2-7, and he grounds to third to end the inning. So Bannister is going to go for the complete game, and why not? He's tossing a masterful 4-hit shutout so far through 8 innings. We go to the top of the 9th, and of course, mop-up duty here from Mike Knoonen. And he will start out facing off against Steve Lyons. The Lyons, Williams, and Guillen due up here against Noonan. 2-11 for Lions. Browns it to Murray, 1 away. Ken Williams, he's the Joe Carter of the White Sox. He's 0 for 3. His average has now dropped to 221. He had 281 real world. 2-4, and that's another out. Ground ball to short. He continues to struggle. Oops. 2 down for Ozzie Guillen. .110 for Guillen. He flies to center. That's going to end the inning. So actually, Noonan did well. Faced 4 batters, got them all out. That'll help his ERA in the replay, that's for sure. So now we go to the bottom of the 9th. Last chance for the Orioles. Not that there is a chance, but their last at bat. And it'll be Ripken, Murray, and Knight. Heart of the order, 3, 4, 5 hitters for Floyd Bannister to dispatch to get that shutout. Ripken's 0 for 3. That is a 2-7. And that's a 1-2 single. Anything else, he lines it to Guillen. And that'll be a line out to Guillen, 1 away. 1 down for Eddie Murray. 4-6, and that's a 1-7 single. 8-20, he lines out. And that's another line out to Guillen. 2 line outs to short. 1 out away from the 4-hit shutout. And the only guy standing in his way is Ray Knight. Knight is 0 for 2. He's been hit by a pitch. 1-7, and he struck him out. An appropriate way to end the game for the Orioles as they strike out to close this one out. Those pitiful Orioles. And the White Sox get the victory. No surprise there. Final score of 8-0 for the White Sox. 8 runs, 8 hits, and no errors. For the Orioles, no runs, 4 hits, and no errors. Alan Bannister becomes a 10-game winner. Not Alan Bannister, Floyd Bannister becomes a 10-game winner. Goes the distance, a 4-hit shutout. He walks 1, strikes out 3. The loss will go to Habyan. He drops to 1-1. And let's see here. White Sox only left 2 runners on base. The Orioles left on 5. So with the victory, the White Sox improved to 38-42. Orioles dropped to 31-52. And as we look at the standings, the White Sox with the victory are pulled within a half a game of third place California Angels, as they are 9.5 back of Oakland, but only a half game back of the Angels for third place. And as we look ahead to tomorrow, we'll check out the next game on the schedule and pick that one out. Let's see who the best matchup's going to be. Looks like we're going to Yankee Stadium, where it'll be Joe Niekro of the Twins facing Tommy John of the Yankees. So tomorrow we'll be at Yankee Stadium. It'll be Twins and Yankees, Niekro and John. On Wednesday, we'll be at the Mistake by the Lake in Cleveland. It'll be the Kansas City Royals taking on the Cleveland Indians. Mark Gubiza against Ken Schramm. Those are the next 2 games to be played. But for today, Memorial Stadium, the site, and the White Sox win it handily by the score of 8-0. Yes, there will be an All-Star game, Roger. I will take the actual National League All-Stars and play them against the replay All-Stars of the American League. So I'm going to either let the computer, I'm not sure if the computer will do that for me, give me an All-Star team, or I'm just going to look up the stat league leaders and pick my own All-Star team based on how these guys are playing in the replay. So obviously a guy like Joe Carter, who might have been an All-Star in real world, will not be an all-star here. And the way Jimmy Key has pitched this year, he would be the starting pitcher for the all-star team. That'll be in the chronological order of things. That'll be after we finish the Sunday game. Right now we're on Tuesday. Once we finish Sunday, which would be, I believe, July the 12th. Once we finish July 12th, the All-Star game would be, right after that, while there's a little bit of an All-Star break going on. So I'd play the All-Star game there. But and it will be in Oakland, just like it was in real world. The game would be taking place in Oakland, as the real world game did. Yeah, I mean, if Ripken, if there's going to be, I always say Alan Trammell is going to be the starting shortstop because he's like the player of the year right now. Probably Dale Swain will be the other one because he's doing so well for Milwaukee. So you'll probably have a lot of Oakland A's and a lot of Milwaukee Brewers on that team because that's the two teams that are really performing well. But I can tell you right now, the two American League shortstops, and it's going to be tough because Tony Fernandez for Toronto is in there too. But there's three guys to pick from primarily, and also Greg Gagne. Don't forget him for the Twins. He's done really well for himself. He's had the only cycle we've had in the replay. So I've got a tough choice to make between four really good shortstops in the replay. You got Greg Gagne of Minnesota, and then you got Tony Fernandez of Toronto, Alan Trammell of Detroit, and Dale Swain of Milwaukee. All four of those deserving of being an all-star selection. So I don't know. Maybe I'll open it up to an all-star vote. Maybe I'll do something like that. I'm not sure. Maybe that's something to think about. Is to put out. I'll put out maybe I could put out like a ballot or something and have people vote for it, where I pick the top, 3 or 4 from each position, and put it out there. Or maybe I'll just, looking at my stats, maybe I'll just pick them out. I'm not sure how I'm going to do it yet, but it's definitely going to be based on the replay, not on the real world stats. So yeah, Cal Ripken, Joe Carter, you won't see those guys. Probably Winfield either, because he's not doing all that great. Might not even see Don Mattingly. I have to see what other first basemen are out there that are having good years. So it's all based on how they're doing in the real world. But for the National League, I'm just going to take the actual National League all-star rosters and deal with them. But that's a fun thing to think about, a little bit down the road. We got to get there first. Right now we're on the 7th, and we got to get to the 12th to finish off those Sunday games. And then once they're done, then I can do the All-Star game. So short term, we're focusing on July the 7th, which was a Tuesday in 1987. So obviously tomorrow, Tuesday, will be August the 4th, I guess it'll be, real world in 2026, but it's going to be July 7th in our world. And it will be the Yankees and the Twins from Yankee Stadium. Joe Niekro against Tommy John, a couple of aged veterans going at it from Yankee Stadium. That'll be tomorrow. Tonight, we'll have the first game in the series between the Colorado Rockies and the Arizona Diamondbacks from Chase Field. That'll be the first of 3 from Arizona. Rockies, of course, won last night, broke the 8-game losing streak, and maybe they're feeling good about themselves. They've also getting their shortstop back, Ezekiel Tovar. He comes off the injured list, so we're not having to use. We're going to send down the guys that didn't have any cards, so we're going to not have a need for the nameless player card now, which is going to be great. So, yeah, Dr. D, I haven't figured it out yet what I want to do. I might do a voting thing. I might pick the top 3 and do a voting or something like that. Tough to say. And plus, I got to look at the actual roster in the real All-Star game to see how many players they carried, how many pitchers, how many backups did they carry, because I don't want to carry guys and not use them. So I want to make sure if I put them on the team that that's a good chance they're going to be used. So we'll see how it goes. But the hometown Oakland A's, because they're in first place, are probably going to have quite a few selections on that team, as will the Brewers, of course, because they're having such a good year. So that's going to do it from here. Hope you all have a great Mondays. Good start to your week. Stay cool out there. If it's hot and humid in your area like it is here, stay cool. And until next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it, and we'll see you all down the road.